because let me tell you, last week's episode of the Book of Boba Fett was absolutely phenomenal. There's so much about episode 6 of the Book of Boba Fett that I loved and I enjoyed. And it brings me so much joy to see what they're capable of doing with Star Wars now. The one thing people tend to forget, and George Lucas is very much the brainchild behind this, is he always wanted Star Wars to be at the forefront of technology. He always wanted them to be the ones pushing the bar. He did that in 77 with Star Wars and through the original trilogy, and then again with the prequels starting in 1999. The sequels kind of got away from that, and I blame that on George Lucas not being part of it. And that's not a terrible thing. That's not really a negative thing to say against the sequels, but they did get away from pushing the bar when it comes to technology for films. And it really kind of bothered me after the fact. After I watched, the entire sequel trilogy, I sat back, I was like, what did they do that was revolutionary for film or for the industry? And I couldn't think of anything. And maybe there were some things they did in the background that us as fans didn't see, but we're now seeing it happen again with The Mandalorian, with the stage technology that they created, which really cuts the production time down, not in half, but it does cut the time of production down a good bit. And then we started to see it at the end of season 2 of The Mandalorian, but we really got a good bit of it in this past week's episode of the Book of Boba Fett with the deep fake technology that they're now utilizing and creating Luke Skywalker. And it was absolutely phenomenal and amazing to see what they were able to do to make a computer generated Mark Hamill, essentially. He looked just like he was right after Return of the Jedi. I get that the voice sounded a little weird. It did seem a little strange, but it wasn't enough to take me out of the experience or out of the show. And honestly, if you ask me, I truly believe that that was a backdoor pilot of sorts for the rumored Tales of the Jedi show that has been speculated and rumored for quite some time, for a few months now at least. And if that's the case, if this was kind of their test to see, like, okay, how are fans going to react to this? And can we pull this off? I think they succeeded unbelievably. And I'm excited to see where this leads if they do take this, because there's so much Luke Skywalker story that we want to know, that we want to hear and want to see. For as much as people want to see Star Wars expand outside of the legacy characters of Skywalker and all of that, for as much as people want to see them get away from it, I think that there's just as many, if not more, that want to see a continuation of these characters that we grew to love through our childhood. Luke Skywalker has been around since 1977, and while his story sort of got finished at the end of Return of the Jedi, in my opinion, that's where it was really truly just beginning. And we never really got to see him be a full-blown Jedi or train Jedi. We got the books, the Thrawn trilogy, I think there was a book series called The Tales of the Jedi, and so many different things that we've gotten to explore the Jedi and Luke to a much more broader spectrum. But we want to see it. We want to see it on screen. We want to see it play out in front of us. And I think this is the best and perfect opportunity to do so. A lot of people want to see someone like Sebastian Stan come in and take the place of Mark Hamill. I myself have been, promoting the idea of recasting these legacy characters. They did Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo. I thought he did a good job. No, he's not Harrison Ford. Nobody's going to be as good as Harrison Ford, but I thought he did a good job. So I was all for them recasting, but now seeing the technology that they're able to do to create Luke Skywalker, why not continue on that route? Why not? They first did it with Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia, and Tarkin in Rogue One, but it has just gotten so much better now. And there's no reason why they can't continue that down and give us 1 or 2 seasons. 3 seasons of Luke Skywalker starting his school and truly becoming a Jedi. I just think it would be phenomenal. I do. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. Do you think that is somewhere that they should go with Star Wars? I'm all for them doing new stories and getting away from the legacy characters, but I'm going to be completely honest with you. I really, really want to see the legacy characters stick around. I want to see more Luke. I want to see more Han Solo. I want to see more Leia, Chewbacca, and all of that because I think they were shortchanged in the sequel trilogy. Again, you can like the sequel trilogy, you can hate the sequel trilogy, but regardless of that, yes, these legacy characters were shortchanged in those 3 films, and I would love to see more of them. But let me know your comments down below. With that, I do want to talk about what we might get in the final episode of season 1 for the Book of Boba Fett. Will we get a season 2? That I think is a question for next week. But we've already gotten quite a few cameos in this show. Besides getting the Mandalorian and Grogu and Skywalker and Ahsoka and Cad Bane, we've gotten the Hutt, we've gotten Cobb Vanth. We've gotten even these other characters that we never thought that we would see again or ever continue on with. But there's still a possibility for more. And the way that the last episode ended, and this is not my speculation, this is something I saw over on another social media, I think it was TikTok I saw it on, where somebody was saying, you know what? Grogu, his decision that he makes, he's going to pick to go with the Mandalorian. I think we all know that's going to be what he picks. Even though I think he should stick with Luke, I think he should train with Luke for a little while, but then come to the realization or have it mirror Luke where he feels that the Mandalorian is in trouble and that he has to leave Luke to go rescue him. Something like that I think would have been really, really interesting to see play out. But he's going to pick the Mandalorian. And a lot of people think he's going to pick the Mandalorian in this upcoming episode, and that he's going to have to find a way to get to the Mandalorian on Tatooine. And a lot of people are speculating that Luke, for whatever reason, is going to not be the one that can take him there, but he will have Han Solo take him in the Millennium Falcon. I think that's a really cool theory, an idea, if that's how it plays out. But I only want that to play out if that plays out in this episode, in this setting. If it doesn't play out like that, if Grogu does not decide to come back to the Mandalorian this episode, if that's being held for season 3 of the Mandalorian, then I think personally I would like to see it play out as I said. I think he should stick around, and through the continuous training, he's realizing that he wants to be with Din Djarin. And then as he's getting more tuned with the Force, he realizes and senses that Din is in trouble, and he flees or finds a way to flee to get back to the Mandalorian to help him. I just think that would be the best way, because then he'll have some of that Force ability, which would be nice to see him utilize, as well as being a foundling and becoming sort of a pseudo Mandalorian in a way, growing up next to Din Djarin. I think that would be real fun to do moving forward. But we'll see. We will see what happens moving forward. I want to know what everybody thinks is going to happen in the finale of the Book of Boba Fett. I can't wait. We're just a couple days away, less than a couple days, like a day and a half away from it happening. I can't wait. Again, this series, when it focused just on the Boba Fett stuff, it was all right. It wasn't great. It was all right. Absolutely watchable. I enjoyed it. But once they brought the Mandalorian into it, and then last week with Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka, I tell you what, I haven't been that happy or excited about Star Wars since being at the midnight premiere of Revenge of the Sith in 2005. It's that simple, at least for me. But let me know your comments below what you think is going to happen on the finale of the Book of Boba Fett. And also, I want to know what you think is going to occur at the end credits. Are we going to get something like we got with the end of Season 2 of The Mandalorian, where they hinted at the Book of Boba Fett? Do you think they're going to hint at another series? Could it be Tales of the Jedi? Could it be a tease for the Ahsoka show? I'm thinking it might be the Ahsoka show. I just have this feeling. I don't think they're going to bring Rosario Dawson in just for that little bit of a scene or a few scenes and not film something to set up her show, because I think they just now started filming her show, or they're about to start filming production. So I really think that they filmed something specific to tease her show to lead into that. But let me know in the comments below. Speaking of Star Wars, I kind of want to stick with it. The state of Star Wars right now. There's a lot of divisiveness, as always, within Star Wars, but this last this last episode of the Book of Boba Fett has really turned it around, and people have kind of been going at each other when it comes to the fandom and fan servicing. Some are saying that this latest episode was just too fan servicey. It was all about the member berries, as people say. And some people are saying, like myself, that we absolutely love it. It's okay. It's okay to serve the fans what they want to see. That is okay. As long as it serves the purpose of the story moving forward, why is that a bad thing? Because it really isn't. It's not a bad thing. That's actually what all franchises do to a certain point. I'm not going to watch a franchise. I'm not going to watch a show or a movie if I'm not getting enjoyment out of it. It's that simple. And that's how you get people enjoyment, is giving them what they want to see, giving them what they want. And it's even better whenever it's meaningful for the story moving forward. And everything that we got last week was meaningful to the story. I saw a great thread on Twitter last week how everything that has happened in the Book of Boba Fett is not just about, because it's not just about Boba Fett, it's about those who have affected or have been influenced or treated in some way by Boba Fett. This is the book of Boba Fett. It's about him and what is going on around him. This is a world building series. This is a continuation of The Mandalorian. And we have to remember, and I know because Lucasfilm has never come out and stated this, but we have to remember, and I heard this, and a lot of other people heard this, that The Mandalorian Season 2 was supposed to be the end of the Mandalorian story. That was going to be it. They were then going to continue the next chapter, the next iteration was going to be the Book of Boba Fett, and whether that was 1 season, 2 season, 3 season, what have you. But because of the excitement and the praise that The Mandalorian got, they shifted and they decided to continue that story. So yes, they're going to weave things in and out. And that's why The Mandalorian shows up in the Book of Boba Fett, because originally we weren't going to get to see the continuation of his story after the fact. It was going to be season 2 had ended, and then he was going to pop up occasionally in whatever, because this is one big story. The Mandalorian was the first 2 novels. Then the Book of Boba Fett was the next novel, and go on from there. But people they kind of forget that, and that's what they were trying to do. So regardless, I'm excited to see what happens. I think people need to just enjoy what we're getting. This is the best Star Wars has been in years. This is enough for those of you who dislike the sequel trilogy. This is enough for you to ignore the sequel trilogy. This is the sequel trilogy you wanted. For those of you that have loved the sequel trilogy, this is giving you more backstory leading up to the sequel trilogy. So you should enjoy it. And that's why what we're getting is just so phenomenal right now. And Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, Bryce Dallas Howard, Robert Rodriguez, all of them involved have been doing a fantastic job. Carl Weathers, Pedro Pascal, Tamora Morrison, Ming-Na Wen, like all of them, they are putting their heart and soul into this and just making it just as great as they can make it. And that just gets me so excited for Obi-Wan Kenobi, for Ahsoka, believe it or not, for Andor, because I'm starting to see they know what they're doing with this property, with this franchise now, and it's absolutely amazing and fantastic. Speaking of Obi-Wan, rumor has it that we could be seeing a trailer, or at least a tease, for the upcoming show, either Super Bowl Sunday or the week around Super Bowl Sunday. It makes sense. It does make sense, because if you really, really, really think about it, that's where they're going to want to highlight all their upcoming things. And there's no other event after that before May, because rumor has it May is when Obi-Wan comes out. There's no other event. Celebration is the end of May. So between now and when Obi-Wan could be releasing, which is thought to be May 4th, there's nothing. So it kind of makes sense to. This is the most anticipated Star Wars project since the sequels, and I don't know if Lucasfilm quite grasped that yet. People have been wanting this for years, so I think we're going to get some kind of teaser trailer at the Super Bowl. I do. I think that's when it's going to happen. But make sure you stick around here, because I will be discussing it when it drops for sure. Speaking